You know, even in the best of times, life can be a struggle. And when we struggle with life, we often struggle with our faith. Sometimes questions and doubts come in. And I think one of the biggest problems is that sometimes our thinking gets a little off kilter, a little off center. We start thinking about things and looking at things and focusing in the wrong ways, asking the wrong questions. Just like a kid asking his mom, do I have to brush my teeth? Well, there's no law that says you're going to jail if you don't brush your teeth. But do you want friends? Do you want teeth later in life? Then yeah, you need to brush your teeth. So sometimes we need to just check our thinking about maybe even the questions we're asking. Sometimes I've heard Christians ask the questions, do Christians need to go to church? That's the wrong question. The proper question really is, what is the importance of church? Why do I need to be a part of this group, this body of believers? Why do I need to sit together with other Christians and pray and sing and worship and listen and be challenged? And I hear this one a lot also. Should Christians watch R-rated movies? Again, maybe that's not really the right question, because it kind of sounds like we're trying to get away with something, instead of maybe question myself, what parameters, what protections have I set in my life to guard my mind and guard my heart from things that shouldn't be there? And I think sometimes the way we got there was because we forget who we are. Maybe sometimes we fail to remember that we need a God. Romans chapter 3 verse 10 says, there is none that is righteous, not even one. If we'd be honest with ourselves, we all know we're fallible. We make mistakes. We can have bad ideas, bad thoughts at times. We can be vengeful. We can be full of pride. We are sinners in need of a Savior. And if we admit that, it kind of changes the questions that we ask. It kind of does away with that question, why do good people go to hell? What is it that constitutes a good person? I mean, what's the metric there for being a good person? Because I think what we do is we measure the good acts of someone and we say, that's what makes someone good. I don't think that's the way this works, because it's not even the good acts that we judge, because we often judge not the acts, but the result of the acts. Just heard the other day about an accident that happened on the highway where someone was drunk, they ran in the rear end of a car, and they injured two small children, and 2 people were killed in the accident. A 7-year-old little girl lost her life, and her mom. That was a horrible tragedy, and you and I were probably already judging, trying to figure out this is what needs to happen to that person. But how many other people were drinking that night and got home, and maybe all the cars that were around them were able to dodge them or whatever, or maybe they didn't even pass any cars on their way home. And we don't judge that person the same way. So we're not judging the heart. We're not judging the acts, what they do with their hand, right? We're judging the results. And is that really what makes someone good or better than someone else? We do the same thing with not just our bad deeds, but our good deeds, where someone may give an offering and nobody knows about it, and someone else may give something, charitable giving, and somehow, and everybody knows, and so we judge that person because of the results, not equal giving or anything. So asking the question of, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do good people go to hell? We're judging with really incomplete information. And maybe here's the better question, is not, why did God allow a crash to take a young life this week? But how many crashes did God prevent this week? Maybe not, how much evil did God allow to happen in the world today, but how much evil is God preventing from happening right now? And maybe the question is not how many people end up in hell, but how many people God has rescued from hell and has rescued from their sin. Matthew 24:15 says that hell was not prepared for humans. Hell was prepared for the devil and his demons. This may blow your mind, but hell wasn't prepared for someone like Hitler. It was not prepared for the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. It was not prepared for those guys that flew the planes into the Twin Towers. Hell was prepared for the devil. And if we end up going there, that was not God's intention. It never was. So maybe the question, why would an all-loving God send people to hell, isn't the question at all, because God doesn't send people to hell. So maybe this question of eternity, of heaven and hell, maybe it really begins here with these questions. Who does eternity belong to? I didn't create this. I didn't make the decisions. I don't get to choose the yes and the no, the heaven, the hell. I don't get to choose that. Who does? I mean, because that's what really matters here, right? And then honestly, what is my true personal moral character? Not what I want you to believe about me or what you maybe even really do believe about me, but really, what am I like down deep inside? What do I do? What do I choose to do with the greatest act of love that was ever displayed on earth? The cross, the crucifixion, the sacrifice of Christ at Calvary. What do I do with that? Perhaps these are really the questions about eternity. I know though, we still struggle with this, right? And we know people that don't have the same privilege I had to maybe be raised and hearing this all of my life. So what does God do with that? What do we do with that? Somebody that doesn't know about Jesus. I just think of so many examples through my life of where I've seen God just go out of his way to reach people that don't know him. And so I've got to believe, I've got to trust, because I've already seen it so many times, that God doesn't write those off either, that God's reaching them too.